Welcome back to the channel. Today, or rather this week, I have done something quite special for you artists and gamers out there. As you already know by the title, I will be drawing my 3 favorite YouTubers as superheroes. Jacksepticeye, CoryxKenshin and DanTDM. I figured this would be a 3-day job, 1 day per YouTuber. Ha! That was optimistically naive. As you will see in this video, I totally underestimated how much time these illustrations would actually take. And in the process, I might have also lost a bit of my sanity. In the end though, I can confidently say, every minute was worth it. So without further ado, let's jump into the first superhero. Hold up, just for a second, okay? Let's make something clear. Although a standard comic book style is probably the first thing you think of when I talk about superheroes, drawing these YouTubers in a comic book style would be quite boring. Just drawing someone in a specific style doesn't do justice to who that person is, their interest, and what they've built over the years here on YouTube. And also, it's my creative vision and I can decide on whatever I want. Yeah, how about that, stupid bitch? Now, to start us off, let's get to our favorite ADHD man, Jacksepticeye. I've watched this channel ever since I was little, and is unsurprisingly where I learned my first curse words. So thanks. Sean's channel mascot is Sam, also known as Septic Sam. Obviously, I needed to include this little guy, as well as Sean's coffee business called Top of the Morning Coffee. Combining those two with some of Jacksepticeye's most iconic things, like the phrase "like a boss" and the general green aesthetic, we've got ourselves a blueprint. But you can't build a house without a foundation. So for the general style, I had a look at his interests. And he has quite a few. He's a fan of Berserk, having a behemoth tattoo. The games from Software, more specifically the game Bloodborne, with the Bold Hunter's mark tattooed on his forearm, and Warhammer, which I chose. I saw some of the stuff from it and thought naively, I could do that. Also, I'm not familiar with Warhammer, so if I get something wrong, please don't castrate me. Appreciate my balls being there the way they are. As you can see right here, these ideas combined incredibly well into a sketch. Really, I'm very happy with this. Now, I just gotta put a nice bow tie on it, by making the line art nice and crisp. Well, it's time to lighten up this sketch. You know, I'll never get enough of that. Okay, I have something to confess. I didn't come up with this design all by myself. Now hold up, put away your pitchforks, hold up. Don't dislike the video just yet. A few years earlier I had made this design, with the same general idea, but you know, worse. And it also looked a lot like Eyebrow, you know, that Skylander, if anyone still remembers those. Good times. I quite like the idea though, but the execution was just horrible. So I knew I could do better with 4 extra years of experience. Where were we at? Oh yeah, that's looking nice and crisp. What's next? Colors. I love it and I hate it. You and I drink the poison from the same vine. Got my water over here? I'm all set up. Let's do this. This step took by far the longest. In total I spent 3 days on this piece, and 2.5 of those days were just spent on the colors. I know a lot of you artists out there would like some tips on how to draw and paint, so I'll use this time to give you some. Let's start off at the beginning, the sketch. A quite interesting tip for this sketch is shape language. Different shapes convey different feelings, like a circle being quite friendly, a square being strong and stubborn, and a triangle being more dangerous. Considering we are making superheroes, there should be very little triangles in the drawings, especially as the main form. I chose a square as my base form, which shows strength and resilience. For the line art, I will give you only one tip. Line weight. It is genuinely so important. To dumb it down, it means that parts that the light can't reach will be thicker. I learned how to utilize line weight from David Finch. So if you want to learn more, you can go over to his channel. The final step, coloring, has a lot of things that are important. But the most important are definitely how to use the color wheel properly and how light works. The color wheel... come here. It is what we use to study how colors interact and combine to create visual effects. With this, you can create combinations like analogous colors, complementary, tertiary, and a whole lot more. For this illustration, I used triadic colors. As I said before, the color green is often associated with Jacksepticeye. So from there, I chose 2 other colors to create a triangle. An orangey yellow and a bluish green, or purple. This creates a very interesting vibrant color palette. And with the more bluish green being more harmonious, it also works really well together. But then you still need to shade it. I kind of hinted at it already, but you don't use blacks to shade your drawings. Instead, you use a color like blue or purple. Black will desaturate your drawing, which is why a lot of drawings usually look very muddy. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't use any black, by the way, because it definitely has its functions. And that is all theory! A color theory!
Yeah, that's not the right channel. I will do MapPad in the future, by the way, don't worry. But only if this vid does well. So slap like and subscribe, artists! Yeah!
Alright, back to crack.
I've been ranting for a bit, and by now, we have gotten a lot further. I'm pretty bad at backstory and all that stuff, so I will leave that up to you guys. Give him a name and a backstory. Drop it down in the comments. I'll have a look at all of your suggestions. Or join the Discord server. There's a link in the description. It's almost finished. Just the finishing touches with a white gel pen, making everything shine and pop. Ladies, gentlemen, and artists, I present to you Jacksepticeye if he was a superhero. The last illustration turned out absolutely phenomenally, so let's keep this train going with the next YouTuber, the Shogun himself, CoryxKenshin. Although I haven't watched Cory for as long as the other YouTubers in this video, he's still one of my faves. I came across his channel a few years ago, and I was immediately hooked. He's just a real and positive dude. Cory has built an insanely tight-knit community over the years, with Cory referring to his community as the Samurai Stand Up! And them calling him the Shogun. As we all know, Samurai and Shogun come from Japan, which he is also fascinated by. Japanese media like manga and anime influenced him a lot. And as an adult, he is currently making a manga called Monsters We Make. And it truly seems like he's going all in with this story. Just look at this.
Better scramble like an egg before you get folded like an omelet. Ooh, that brother's folding.
You know, this gives me the perfect base to work off of, putting Cory in his own story, adapting the designs of the suits the characters wear, and the art style. But of course, with my own added details. Right here, I am already working on the sketch. But let's throw that away for a second. Don't worry, it's a boomerang, it'll come back. Where this actually started was here, with some concept sketches.
Okay, CoryxKenshin, let's do it.
It helps me to figure out some ideas and lets me test things without it being permanent.
With the preliminary sketches, I also checked how I would transform his head into an anime style. I think that looks okay.
I guess this will be your tip for the sketching phase, so you're welcome. And you can thank me by samurai slicing the like button. And if you don't,
I know where you live.
and only then do I actually create the sketch. Oh hey look, it's coming back just like I said. Very nice. Yep. Now, let me grab my ink and dip pen, and we can get into the lines. Mangas are usually created with ink and a dip pen. Modern day mangas also get created with digital drawing programs like Clip Studio Paint. Using a dip pen is quite a steep learning curve. My first time using it ended up in a disaster. So I will give you some tips to prevent this from happening to you. Please, prepare your nib correctly. I didn't do this, and that's why my first drawing turned out absolutely horrible. Immediately threw it in the chest and lit it on fire. You should heat up your pen with a lighter and then slobber all over the nib. It sounds strange, but your spit is very acidy, which helps or something. I'm not even completely sure. I just saw some guy do it, so I thought, I'll do it too. I showed the line work of this drawing on my TikTok page with the caption, "Guess which YouTuber this character is based on." Sadly though, not many people guessed it. Matter of fact, most people guessed CypherPK, which is understandable with the Oni mask and all that. By the way, if you want early looks at what these videos are about, or want some non-brain rot short content, you can follow me over on TikTok and Instagram, both under the @LewixArt. I would be happy to have you. Although Cory is definitely a good guy, I don't really think he follows the norm or the rules. So instead of making him a regular hero, I went into a more anti-hero direction. Someone who lacks conventional heroic attributes, and instead follows their own beliefs. It just felt right. What also felt right was putting a massive kaiju in the background. I haven't even talked about this beast in the background yet. His name's Bob. Anyways, as a final step in this process, I decided not to add colors, but instead shades of grey, to really show that it's a manga. I would have used tone, which are those little dots, but I don't have the tools for that. If necessary, I can always scan it in and do it in Clip Studio Paint, if you guys would like that. You might think that I used some kind of marker for this, but I didn't. I took some of the Indian ink and watered it down to an opacity I liked. Then by layering it over each other, you can get darker and darker shades of grey. Truly, this is what pulled the drawing together. Just look at Bob before. Naked and afraid. Now look at him. The Chad he is. A true specimen. And with all that shading and some final details with a gel pen, I think, no, I know this drawing is finished. Samurai of the CoryxKenshin Empire, I present to you CoryxKenshin as an anti-hero in his own story, Monsters We Make.
I'm flying high, but I've got a feeling I'm falling for nobody else but you. You caught my eye, and I...
By now, I'm already several days in, and 10 times more the hours. So, if you've liked the video up until now, please bop that like button, and also please
订阅
thank you if you did. If you would like to support me even further, you can go to my store and grab yourself one of my drawings as either a poster or on a t-shirt and hoodie. Over the years I've done some awesome works, like the Lich Knight and Greg. And I am planning on adding even cooler works in the future. Here's a little sneak peek for you guys. So, if you would like to support me and grab yourself something cool, you can do so with the link in the description or by going to LewixArt.com. The drawings I've made in this video aren't available though, because I'm pretty sure I need the permission from the YouTubers. Just so you know. Finally, at last, we have the goat of Minecraft, DanTDM.
Hey everyone, Dan here from the Diamond Minecraft.
A true veteran of YouTube, with his channel coming from the Stone Age, also known as 2012. I've always been a fan of DanTDM, and if my memory serves me correct, he was the first ever creator that I really enjoyed watching. He was a real part of my childhood, to the point I would go home right after school and watch one of his videos. As many know, his channel name DanTDM is a combination of Dan, short for Daniel, and TDM, an acronym for the Diamond Minecart. One of his most iconic videos back in the day were with Dr. Trioris and Grim, where they explored different Minecraft mods, with Dr. Trioris and Grim becoming iconic, cemented in the channel's history. With the past two creators, I could kind of base the style off of a piece of media that they like or have made, but with DanTDM, I don't know much about his interests. So I decided to go with a more classical approach of drawing superheroes like how you see in the comics. There were some very obvious elements that I needed to include, them being Dr. Trioris, Grim, a diamond minecart, it seemed fitting, diamonds because duh, and I thought it would be nice to include his wife and 2 kids, as starting a family is obviously a massive milestone in someone's life. All these elements were fairly easy to implement, except for Dr. Trioris. I was kinda stuck on how I should implement him in the drawing. I had genuinely no clue. But then, I realized something. Something that would change my view of DanTDM forever. Something truly fascinating. Insane even. Crazy. So, I included Dr. Trioris by giving his lab coat to Dan. Real quick, whilst I'm editing this video, it was Halloween, and DanTDM actually did dress up as Dr. Trioris for Halloween, which I find pretty funny. Anatomy! I don't know, I just needed a segue into the next tip. For comics, anatomy is especially important. Most superheroes usually wear skin-tight suits, and just underwear, to show all that muscle. So, you should know it. But you might think, I don't. And that's too bad! Nah, I'm just kidding. Here's a way you can study anatomy. Muscles all have different functions in the body and can exist as a singular muscle or as a group of muscles. To truly get good at anatomy, you should not only focus on how the muscles look, but also what their function is. How they change shapes, and how muscles look big, like a bodybuilder, and small, like a twig. A lot goes into learning anatomy, but when you have a deeper understanding, the information will stick with you longer. And that goes for everything. I have a lot more art tips available for you guys, in case this video wasn't nearly enough for you. Over on my Discord server, I have a whole channel dedicated to art tips, each with a drawing and a comprehensible guide alongside it. I would recommend it for beginner and intermediate artists who are trying to get better. There's a link in the description if you would like to join the art army. Now, let's get into the inks.
Kobe! That's going in the video.
I must say that I really like drawing these pugs. They're just so cute and their faces are so expressive. Such cute little lads. And Grim turned out absolutely awesome. I actually based the skeleton off of a wolf's skeleton, because in Minecraft you tame wolves, not dogs. So it wouldn't make sense to give him the skeletal structure of a dog. And the bottom left of the screen being taken up by huge diamonds and a minecart from Minecraft with tools in it was an incredible finishing touch. The minecart doesn't quite have a diamond look yet, but I can always do that in the future by adding colors. For the line art, I don't have much to say except for look up line weight again, it's important. But for the shading, we are taking a very different approach. Shadows consist of coarse shadows and transition shadows. With the comic book style, coarse shadows usually get completely blacked out, with a bit of space left at the edges. This edge is caused by a rim light. and is an amazing way to clearly show the complete form and even more detail.
Finished all the line work, and it took an absurdly amount of time. But also in doing so, I have blocked out with lines where the black shape should be, the shadows. So that means that the next step is going to be twice as quick. But this step was twice as long as it should have been. But ooh, do I like it. Gorgeous.
But to truly finish the look, we have to go even further beyond by adding hatching. This is a technique where you draw lines in a row that vary in length and width. With the comics, it usually comes out of the core shadows, but hatching has way more uses than only that. It can add texture, show form, and make your drawings overall more dynamic. It is really something I would recommend for artists to learn. But when it comes to these diamonds, this shading was a lot more complicated. Diamonds are so difficult to get right. Light enters the diamond and then bounces all around it, causing weird shapes and light spots, which are impossibly difficult to get right. But usually, if you mess around, you will get it right at some point. Not many things are like this in art, but really complex reflective objects, in my opinion, definitely fall under this category. Regardless, this drawing turned out great. If you would like me to color it, I would happily do it with you guys' support. I could maybe transform it into a comic book cover, which would look awesome. Crafters and miners, with an E. Let me make that clear, with an E. I am happy to present to you DanTDM as a comic book hero. On a real note, I just want to thank all of these YouTubers for not only shaping my childhood, but also everyone else's childhood. You guys probably get a lot of love and thank you sent your way, but it is truly not enough. The positive impact you guys have on not only your own communities, but also the overall YouTube landscape is truly heartwarming and inspiring. So thank you. Well, ladies, gentlemen, and everything in between, the video has come to an end. I hope I will see all of you on another creative journey. Stay creative. Thank you all so much for watching until the end. I just used these end sections to get some of my thoughts out there, and it gives you a chance to click another one of my videos right here. I wanted to make this video for a while, as you might be able to tell by the Jacksepticeye fan art I made years ago. You know what? Frick it. If any of these YouTubers want the drawing, I will send it to them. They probably won't see it, but you know, just in the case of 1 in a million, no, 1 in a billion, that the video went viral enough, I'll send it. I like Bapow. And with that statement, I'll end the video.